Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today, my special guest is Russ Wilson. And Russ, you are in you say northeast Pennsylvania? Northwestern Pennsylvania. And Russ is here with me in Tennessee. We're speaking at the Regenerative Agriculture Summit, they call it, here in Greenville, Tennessee. And I've known Russ for a little while. We actually spoke at a conference in Pennsylvania. It's probably been 7-8 years ago, wouldn't it, Russ?
It's been a little bit. Yes, it has. It's been a few years.
Well, when I heard you speak, I was sitting there listening to you, and I'd heard your name before, and like, boy, Russ, you're doing a lot of things that we do, and
Yeah.
it sounded like almost a prototype. A lot of the things that you were doing, exactly what we were doing in Missouri. And I always thought, that was really good. But I wanted you to talk a little bit about your operation and kind of what you're about.
Well, we're about regenerative agriculture, Greg. We try to do things for the least cost as possible. As a farmer, we need to be able to do things that are cost effective in order to be profitable. So we go out, we look at the soil, we dig in the soil, we smell the soil, sometimes we taste the soil.
Yep.
We look at all those good things, and we try to basically make as much grass grow as possible. And we're trying to feed that grass back to the soil first. We got to feed the soil before we feed our livestock.
Mm-hmm.
And those are some of the great things that we're doing with that. And having that, feeding the soil, it's feeding that grass, and it's making tons and tons of forage, and we can have a huge carrying capacity on the farm and make a lot of pounds of animal.
Right. Well, would you share with us the title of your talk yesterday and a little bit about what that entailed? That was a very good talk, by the way.
Okay, my presentation yesterday was about pasture management, and I know that's something that folks kind of steer away when you say management. But it was basically walking the farmer through, or the person through, on a 300-day grazing. We graze over 300 days a year in northwestern Pennsylvania, which is very uncommon. It's very, very hard. It's in the wintertime because it gets so wet and it never really freezes down.
Mm-hmm.
And so that brings a lot of attention to us because we're grazing over 300 days, and I'm trying to help other producers be able to do this without having to make hay and buy a lot of hay to feed their livestock, because we know our feed that's out in the pasture is our least expensive feed that we can feed our livestock.
Yep.
And the livestock, to me, Greg, they are much happier out there in the pasture field than they are inside in confinement, or even if you have a sacrifice area out in the field and they're up to their mud in their knees, that's not a good thing.
No. Well, Russ, you had some pictures yesterday of your past grazing or your past farming practices, and you had those cows up in a lot. You were hauling all this grain to them, like you're augering out corn, and you're grazing all this crop and hauling it in, and then you're hauling all the manure out, and the animals were locked up, and you had health issues. And now today, life is good.
So life is wonderful, Greg. I mean, we don't do that anymore. All that stuff's gone.
Yep.
We basically took the middleman out of the guy that, I used to be the harvester. I'd store it, and this, it was just the way I was growing up, and that's the only way I knew how to do things.
Right.
But it really didn't make any sense to me. It really didn't click until I had a vet on my farm one time. I was on a first name basis with the vet. He came in, he says, it was in about the middle of April, and we had grass 16 inches high probably, and he says, "Why aren't your cows out there grazing?" "Well, I need to make the hay on it." He says, "No, they have 4 feet, they have a mouth, put them out there." And that kind of clicked for me, and it really makes a lot of sense. If you can utilize your livestock to feed if you can utilize your livestock on your land, it's so much better.
Yeah. Well, you showed some pictures yesterday, Russ. You get snow up there.
Oh, yes.
Well, don't you feed hay when it snows?
No, Greg. We found that we can graze through 3 feet of snow.
That's amazing.
It is totally amazing. And the way that we go through 3 feet of snow, we have to have a lot of dry matter on the ground.
Yeah, you can't go after 2 inches.
You can't even go after 16 inches. You know, we have, I call it the blades of grass. Our blades of orchard grass is 48 inches. I've measured some, just the blades, as long as 56 inches.
Wow.
It's just simply amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the cows, they'll go through it, and it's really cool how they do it. They windmill down through the snow, and then they work a great big circle. They work about 3-foot circle.
Yep.
And then they pick up and they move on, and that circle is opened up for their baby calves, because the baby calves, they would fight pretty hard to get through 3 feet of snow.
Right. Well, and you're also running. You got sheep?
Yes.
Yep.
We have a flock of hair sheep. It's small. We used to have 220, and when my kids was small, it was too much for me to handle the cows and the sheep and the goats. We actually had 160 head of goats too.
Wow.
Yeah, we had our hands full, and now that my children are a little bit older, they're 10 and 11 years old, my daughter, she actually manages the sheep.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's weeks on time that I don't even see the sheep. She just asks me what field to put them in. She takes them out. She knows how much to give them, when to move them, and she's doing an excellent job, Greg. 10 years old, she's out there moving. She does it by herself.
That's crazy. Well, Russ, that little girl of yours, she's not little anymore, but she's gonna grow up with an unbelievable work ethic.
Oh, both my children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about folks that are on the fence about starting a farm and raising their children in the country? What do you think about that?
I think it's the best thing they could do for their children.
Yeah.
I really do, because it gives them work ethic. It teaches them. It gives them more drive. They're going to be more successful. You know,
staring at a TV all day long.
Is staring on a TV.
That doesn't teach them anything.
That's not teaching them a thing.
Nope.
It isn't. You know, we need basic life skills in order to survive well.
And what better place to learn it than on a farm?
Absolutely. There is so many things that they're exposed to. Responsibility.
Yep.
You know, that's probably one of the biggest things to teach our children is responsibility.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And hard work ethic, you know, to be out there, to go out there and do a job and get it done, and, you know,
there's
about it.
There's hard times on the farm.
Yes.
And that's part of farming. You go through hard times, you go through good times, but even the worst day on the farm is still better than the best day in town.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I worked in town for a good many years, and, you know, every time I was on the farm, I don't care what went wrong, it was still a pretty good day.
Absolutely. I've worked off the farm. I worked off the farm for approximately 10 years, but I still kind of had like a hobby farm.
Yep.
I always had cattle or,
Yep.
or chickens or something, and, you know, I decided that this is what I was going to do, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, Russ, one of the things that I've always been impressed by you is you're a low input guy, and you're always working on a new gadget or a different way of doing things. What makes you want to do that? I mean, you're always looking at the...
I'm always looking to try to make things more efficient. You know, whenever as farmers, how many farmers do you know buys a brand new piece of equipment and they alter it so it works on their farm? There's a lot of guys out there that will do that.
Yep.
And for me, what I'm doing whenever I build something for on the farm, how can I make things more productive, easier, better? Because I'm not making hay anymore, Greg.
Right.
You know, I have a little bit of extra time, so I can spend time, you know, like I've developed a reel winder for a mini reel. I mean, it works great. I can wind 600 feet of wire up in a minute.
And you don't have $1,000 invested in it.
Absolutely not. No. And that's another thing that I do. I try to make things as cheaply as possible and use stuff that I have on the farm. You know, a piece of steel that somebody gave me 10 years ago, it's been sitting in the corner. Oh yeah, that would work great to build this.
Yes.
In my last one, and I'll be doing a YouTube video on it, Greg, is a solar piston pump. And I think that this will really help a lot of farmers because water is a big issue on farms.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, you mentioned your YouTube channel. Russ, what is the name of your YouTube channel?
My name of my YouTube channel is pretty easy. It's just Russ Wilson. It's www.youtube.com/Russ Wilson, a capital R and a capital W.
Okay.
And if you just do a search Russ Wilson,
You're gonna hit it.
you're gonna
Yep.
hit it.
Folks, I'm gonna put it on my description on this video, so those of you all that just want to click on it, I will have that link on my description on the YouTube. Russ, I'm gonna thank you so much for giving me this interview. It's been awesome catching up with you again, and you know, you're gonna be speaking here in a little bit, and I am too. So I guess we better get back in there.
We better get back in there, Greg. I appreciate it, Greg, and it has been an honor to meet back up with you and some of the other speakers as well.
Yeah, we just got back from a pasture walk, and it was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was a good one.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you haven't been to this, it's held here in Greenville, Tennessee every year. Get on their website. It's a Regenerative Agricultural Summit. And I think this is the 3rd year they've had it, maybe the 4th, I don't know. But they always have a good round of speakers. The food, can you imagine?
Oh, my.
What did we have for food today?
Oh, we had roast pig and half a chicken.
Half a pastured chicken.
Half a pastured chicken, all barbecued.
And yesterday it was South Pole hamburgers. And brats.
And brats. Yeah, we're gonna gain weight by the time we get home, Greg.
Well, it's been awesome. Thanks again, Russ. And for those of you all new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out, and we'll see you next time. Thank you all.